Today, we talk about patience. This show is for everyone working at the Coalface, digital, business, marketing, social. This is At the Coalface with your host, Jason Greenwood. Hello everybody, I'm Jason Greenwood. Welcome to episode 16 of At the Coalface. I want to talk to you today about patience. So we're going to go a little more strategic today. Often my videos tend to be a little more tactical. They tend to be a little bit more down in the trenches, and they tend to be, sort of daily advice that you can sort of apply in your day-to-day digital and business life. As I reflect and as I contemplate, I'm back here in coming to you from my backyard once again. This is Easter Monday, and so I've had a chance to, reflect quite a lot over this weekend as I hang around in the garden, as I do stuff around the house, and as I have a chance to sort of relax and spend a bit more time thinking back on my career and reflecting on my career and some of the key strategic lessons that I've learned to go alongside some of the more tactical lessons, experiences, and practice that I've had. And one of the things that I guess stands out to me that I personally haven't always been really good at, but I've had to develop a skill in, is the skill of patience. And patience is such an absolutely critical skill set to have, and also a critical, place to come from in a business scenario, in a digital scenario, in a branding scenario, and even as you apply tactics across your business to grow your business digitally, applying patience to each one of those tactics and not expecting them to pay dividends overnight commercially is something that's really, really crucial. And I'm going to give you an example of how this works, I guess a real life tangible example of how this works. And there was a photo that I put up on Instagram and on Twitter of myself and a mate of mine, Tony Hugh, catching up over the weekend. He's a very big digital player down here in New Zealand, and he's got his own development agency, and there's sort of a full service digital agency that does web development, e-commerce development, digital marketing, penetrating of new overseas international markets, etc. And we were talking about the importance of patience right throughout the whole of our lunch, and we touched on a lot of different subjects, but the way in which I kind of described to him how I see patience, and as we were sitting there, I said to him, I said, Tony, imagine that a magician, a busker, a person who sort of works his way around the world, traveling and doing, doing tricks or has a special talent or capability. But imagine that we had a magician, and he came up to our table. I don't know, maybe he's a young magician. Maybe he's 15, 16 years old. And he comes up to our table and he says, hey guys, pay me $10 and I'll show you a magic trick. And, we'd be, before we'd even seen him perform, we'd probably be quite dubious about handing over $10 each potentially to this itinerant, or what we would expect to be an itinerant magician, before we ever got anything of value in return. And we would possibly not give him that money. We may, but we may not. He's probably got a 50-50 chance that we won't. And if we were to look at this as a slightly different way, and this magician was to take a slightly different approach, and he was to come up, and he was either to start doing some magic directly at our table, or he was to stand in the middle of the tables that we were in, because we were one of about 5 or 6 tables in a very sort of compressed, compact area. And if he was to start performing in the middle, and he was to put a hat out there, or he was to put a little box out there or something like that, showing that he's wanting either tips or sort of a donation for his time or his experience, and he was to do some amazing, amazing magic tricks, and really captured the imagination and the interest of the audience, and then put that put that donation out there, or at that point after he did 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of magic tricks or whatever the case may be, if he were to then come to our table and sort of, and not necessarily ask for a donation, but sort of pass the hat scenario and wander around, we would all probably feel quite obliged to contribute to him and to donate to him for his efforts and for his entertainment. Especially if he captured our attention, because time is the real key, and time it has the value. I placed a huge value on the time that I spent with Tony. We always have fantastic meetings, and I always walked away really inspired and pumped to move things to the next level, and we really challenge each other to continue learning, to continue pressing on, and we talk about our experiences together, and we share our learnings, and we grow together, and we make plans together to help each other out, to challenge each other, and as I said, we'll probably start working on content together and lots of other things. So there's some definite synergies there. And so in the midst of that time, when time is precious, and we only had sort of an hour and a half together, and we were getting through a lot of things, if somebody would have been able to capture our attention long enough for 5, 10, 15 minutes while they were performing magic, then definitely that's worthy of some recompense for that, and so for some remuneration for that. And so, Tony totally agreed. He basically said, that's the approach that we take in business. That's the approach that we should take in marketing. That's the approach that the entire digital and business space needs to take. And especially when it comes to storytelling, and especially when it comes to, putting out content and expecting nothing in return. That's a really key attribute to have. And, as I think about this series, and as I think about other series, other YouTube series, and other content that I consume in the marketplace, whether that be from HubSpot and Inbound, whether that be, from Gary Vaynerchuk, whether that be from Seth Godin, whether that be from, any number of, I guess, luminaries in the digital space who are worthy really of attention and time. When I think about how they've become successful, it always is predicated on a background of patience. And you look at, Gary Vaynerchuk and doing 1,000 episodes of Wine Library TV, and then of course doing his Ask Gary V show and being, nearly 200 episodes into that, and now having the ability to have a social digital agency that's got, over 600 staff. That didn't happen overnight. That happened over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of both building businesses, being successful building businesses, and then helping others to build businesses and putting out content with no expectation of being paid for it, or even having the opportunity to do his keynotes or his books or anything else. And so, just having the I guess the hope and the belief that if you do things the right way, if you put out valuable content, if you tell valuable stories, if you do something that's entertaining and takes people's mind off of their life for a period of time, whether that be a sports person, whatever the case may be, you might be a great musician. And there's many talents that people have, and many abilities that they have that they can leverage over time by being, I guess you could consider it sort of altruistic, but really it just comes down to patience. If you have belief and you have confidence that what you do and what the value that you bring to the table will become apparent to other people, then you just have to keep going. And, I have every confidence, for example, in myself, my knowledge, my ability, my experience, my background. I know it has value. It has value, not only direct commercial value to my current employer, and not only did it have a value when I was running my own e-commerce business and other businesses that I've been involved in, and other businesses that I've consulted with, but it has a long-term value to a specific audience that's out there in the marketplace. And so, I don't know necessarily what I'm going to be doing in the future. I don't know, at some point in the future, in 2, 3, 4 years' time, I may want to write a book. I may want to start a conference, a digital conference up that hopefully people will attend and will become an industry, leading conference. I may want to go and do some keynote speaking. I may want to travel around the world and do consulting. There's lots of things that I may want to do in my future. And I may not even necessarily know what those are exactly yet from a strategic perspective, but I know that by seeding the marketplace with my knowledge, sharing my knowledge freely with no expectation of absolutely anything in return, and having that patience that, it may take 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years to build up an audience that recognizes me enough to build a community around my content and want to, share what I have to say with their friends, their network, their audiences by extension. And so, that patience I know will pay off at some point in the future. And if it doesn't, and this content purely helps people and I don't choose to execute in any other way in the future, then that's great too. And so I think from a patience perspective, brands are in a very, very big rush to go out there and put the hard press on, do the hard sell. And especially what I see in social media, it's always with the promotions, it's always with the merchandising, it's always with the sense of urgency, it's always with the coupon codes, it's always with everything. There's no, there is no strategic thinking in the marketplace about what they are trying to do for the medium to long term, to build that stickiness, to build that credibility, to build that base out in the marketplace of that knowledge around their brand and educate the market around their brand, and not even just around their brand, educate the market full stop around stuff that they have particular expertise in, with no expectation that they will get any direct commercial return out of it, but that they will potentially have the opportunity to get a direct commercial return out of it by becoming a thought leader in their vertical, a thought leader in their industry, by being a leader full stop in their space. And so when it comes to patience, it's such an absolutely critical skill to have. And as I said, it's something that I've had to develop because I'm a naturally quite impatient person, and this extends to you as potentially a digital employee, whether you be an e-commerce manager, whether you be a social media manager, whether you be a head of digital, whether you be a business development manager, whatever your role may be in business, in this space, specifically in the digital world in which we live today. When I walked into Health Post, there was some fantastic things that we were doing and are doing, and we have huge brand equity because we've tried to do the right thing by the marketplace, since the company's inception in 1988. But then there's also a whole lot of other things that I would like to do to kind of move us up to even the next level. And, that patience, once again, has to come into play. And if I come into the business and I try to upset the apple cart too much, then I'm going to end up making enemies, not friends. I'm going to be, potentially perceived as a threat to other people's roles and what they're trying to do in their space. So it really comes down to a patience on my part. Even in my day job, it really is, it behooves me to be patient and to document all of the ways in which I think we can do things better from an e-commerce and digital perspective, but not expect those changes to happen overnight, because incremental change, incremental improvement will get you there in the end. And it's all about change management. It's all about getting people on board. It's all about inspiring other people to see your vision, and hopefully it becomes the vision of the business. And so it takes time for all of that to happen. It takes time for that mind shift and that heart shift to happen in the business, especially when you want to start doing things that don't have an immediate commercial outcome tied to them, that they're playing for the medium and the long game. And you're seeing how the market is shifting and you're wanting to play that longer game. Convincing management to go along on that ride takes a bit of time, and showing them the benefit of doing so, and showing them examples from the marketplace of businesses that have done that. They've taken the long view and they've won over the long term. Amazon is a prime example of a patient business. Amazon, hasn't been profitable for a very, very long time. They've had rapidly growing revenue numbers, but their investors have had to have, a tremendous amount of patience and a trust in Jeff Bezos that he knows what he's doing. And, it's starting to pay off. It's starting to pay dividends, with AWS and obviously with the growth of the Amazon marketplace. Amazon is all you have to do is look at Amazon's financial performance to see they're playing the long game, the absolute long game. But that takes a tremendous amount of patience. It takes forethought and it takes vision. And it requires you to take your investors, in the case of Amazon, because they're a public company, it requires them to take their investors investors on the journey with them and to provide transparency into that long view game that they're trying to take. But I tell you, they're winning big, and if they didn't have patience and they went for the throat right from day dot and they were going for the big margins, the big profitability, etc., Amazon would not be the 800-pound gorilla that they are today. And the business world is littered with businesses that have gone for the throat, they haven't been patient, they haven't played the long game, and they haven't planned their marketing, they haven't planned their go-to-market strategy, they haven't planned their pricing model, they haven't planned their feature set, they haven't planned absolutely anything with the medium and the long term in mind. And it's because of that impatience that they've lost ultimately, because it takes time. It takes time to build a quality website. It takes time to build a quality product. It takes time to build a go-to-market strategy. It takes time to build a brand. It takes time to carve out a niche for yourself. And it takes time to build trust in your audience, in your customer base, that you can then reactivate over and over again once they have total confidence in you. So from a strategic perspective, patience is one of the most important qualities a business person or any person can have, for that matter. And so that's what I wanted to bring to you today. Hopefully it's been of value. I also want to mention that I will be doing, in the name of patience, I plan to do a giveaway. That's my goal. I want to give away Gary Vaynerchuk's new book, which is the Ask Gary V book. I want to give that away to 5, count them, 5, so 5 books. I want to give those to 5 members of the audience of At the Coalface. And so, but there's going to be a few little requirements involved in that to get those free books and to go into the draw for that, because it's going to be a draw on episode 20. I will announce actually episode 21, because I want to do the draw effectively just after episode 20 based on the feedback up between now and episode 20, and then I'll make my decision. It'll be a fairly random draw, and there'll be 5 Gary V books that I'll be basically having shipped directly to your door, directly from Amazon. Because I really look up to Gary Vaynerchuk, and definitely he practices patience in our space probably better than just about anyone else. And so I want to reward you guys with some fantastic knowledge. I want to gift that knowledge to you. He's gifted that knowledge to me, and I want to be able to pass that knowledge, pay it forward onto you. And so what I want comments and interaction. And so in order to qualify to be in the draw for the 5 Gary V books, you will need to comment on this episode. And in fact, you will need to comment on this episode and each episode through episode 20. At least one comment of what you think of the episode. I don't just want great episode. I actually want some proper feedback. You're thinking of how the episode's going, how it's developing, how I'm developing, what you'd like to see. I have tremendous, I have a whole raft of things planned for this particular series. I have people that I want to interview and bring to you that are in my sphere, that are absolute experts in their field, in digital and business and marketing. And so I want to go ahead and interview those guys, get them, guys and girls, get them on here. I want to do some work at some events and bring that information, that inside skinny to you guys, because of my access to people that I know in the space. I want to bring that sort of inside knowledge to you guys wherever I possibly can, bring you as much value as I possibly can. So I'm really looking to grow, I guess, the community that I'm trying to build around this type of content, this At the Coalface content, this In the Trenches content. I'm really trying to bring as much value as I can, but I also need to start building an audience. And so if I have to incentivize you guys to interact with each other and with me, then that's what I have to do, and that's what I'm going to try to do with this Ask Gary V book giveaway. So comment away. I'm now uploading these episodes natively directly to Facebook, as well as obviously YouTube. So comment on Facebook and or the YouTube episodes. Look forward to interacting with you, hopefully as a side benefit. Look forward to interacting with you on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, etc. So yeah, if to go in the draw, I'll be looking for some comments and some interaction with me and with each other from you guys on each episode from now, which is episode 16 through episode 20. So really only 4 episodes. It's only 4 comments minimum to qualify to be in the draw. So go ahead and interact with each other, and if we don't we don't get the interaction, then I guess I won't have 5 books that I'll need to send out. So that's my goal. Share it around, share it with your friends, and if you're interested, go check out Amazon and check out the commentary and the feedback and the reviews on the Ask Gary V book. I think you'll be pretty impressed with what people have to say. I've got his 3 previous books, and every one of them are fantastic. I'll be doing some book reviews on those as well. I haven't got the Ask Gary V book yet because I'm just finishing up the first 3 books and didn't want to get that one until I had consumed his other 3 in full and had a chance to digest those. So I'll be getting the Ask Gary V book as well. So anyways, hopefully that brings some extra value to you guys. Tell me what you think about patience. Tell me when you've been able to exercise patience, when you haven't, how the outcome has worked out both different ways. And we'll chat soon. Cheers.